Tony, did you hear at NYCC they weren't selling anything with Snoopy or Charlie Brown on it?
I was unaware.
Yeah, they were worried about the attendees that had peanuts allergy. Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. You found Fanboys Live the Retro Review, and we're so excited that you're here to join us and hope you've had a very successful and happy week. Got the weekend here now, and it's time for today's show as I welcome the Royal of Foils, Signature King Tony Fett. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was watching all the cool announcements coming out of New York Comic Con, so
Yeah.
nothing super crazy, but still fun.
Did you feel any envy that you weren't there? Because I did.
Oh, of course I did. Yeah, of course I did. Just, some of the guests that were attending, made me
Who would
really
you have
want to
liked
go.
to have met?
I'd say probably number one, probably Jenny Friesen.
Oh, I met her,
Very cool.
and she's very nice.
I heard she's a wonderful person. So she would probably be definitely in my top three, for
Yeah,
sure.
you'll have to come to C2 E2 because she lives in the Chicagoland area, so she usually attends that one.
Dang it. Yeah. I'll try to avoid Chicago, but I might have to.
Yeah. And let's also welcome Comic Food 2814. I don't know where he's at.
Okay, he'll find it.
Before we get started in the news, Tony, I don't know if you heard this or not, but an icon has passed away today, Suzanne Summers.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, Suzanne Summers passed away, and tomorrow would have been her birthday. She passed away a day before her birthday. Talk about an icon, though. I mean, we're talking about an actress, known for TV shows like Three's Company and She's the Sheriff, an entertainer, an entrepreneur. Do you remember the Thigh Master?
Yeah, I remember that.
Did you know anyone who had the Thigh Master?
I don't think I remember anybody owning one.
Now, I had a friend that had the Thigh Master, and, Suzanne Summers said you could do the Thigh Master anywhere. So my friend was doing it at the laundromat, and they asked her to leave.
It's false advertising, I'd sue.
I guess so, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I actually have a Suzanne Summers autograph.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
going to personalize to my name and everything. And I'm going to post that on my Instagram story after we wrap up Fanboys tonight. So
Wow,
look for
very
that.
cool.
As you can see, I'm at The Magic Lasso on Instagram.
Yes.
So let's start jumping into the news. What's been going on with NYCC and other noteworthy things? Oh, but before we jump into the news, let's jump into the chat and see who's joining us. If you're watching on the rewind, hello to you. First in the chat is John's Comics with Kids. Hope you're doing well. Then we have I Collect a Lot here. Super Russ 9000 has joined us. Kenneth Bird is here tonight, which is good. Jumping back here for a quick second, I'm in a group chat of Super Russ because I've been a guest on his new show that he does, Let's Talk Comics. So I see in this little group chat, that John's like, oh yeah, I could probably do the show pretty soon. You know how long I've been after John to be on this show?
Too long. Yes, John,
Yep.
Please. Come on, buddy.
This is the channel that blames them and names them.
Yeah, we'll call you out.
Whatever it takes to get somebody on the show.
Yeah.
Ben Compton is here. And, he's on tomorrow.
I like Russ's new show. However, some of the 4-hour streams or the 3-hour streams, I'm sorry, Russ, man, but I can't sit through the whole thing. I can do a solid hour.
Solid hour.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be a spin-off show, The Solid Hour.
There you go.
Yeah, he does have a Sunday night show on the regular, so.
Well, cancel it.
Thank you.
Cancel it. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding too. So what's going on news-wise?
Lots of cool stuff coming out of New York Comic Con. One of the more popular ones coming out is the the reinvigoration of DC Elseworlds.
Okay.
And they announced some cool titles for it. Have you seen it or heard of
I
it?
have not.
One of the cool titles that I'm looking forward to is, I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's an Elseworld story about DC characters in the Viking Age, and this one is pretty cool. It's gonna be about Deathstroke. I don't know if he's the main character or if it's just really cool cover of him being a Viking. But so they're gonna bring back DC Elseworlds, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of stories, and I'm sure they just gave us like a taste. There's an Elseworld story about they're continuing the Red Sun story. I think there's a Harley Quinn one for some reason. I don't know. But coming in 2024, so be on the lookout for that. It should be interesting. But I'd say the one I'm looking forward to the most is probably the Deathstroke. Batman Gaslight or whatever. Earth 19 is getting a story. See, they call these Elseworld stories, but they're not really Elseworld stories because those Earths have already been established.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Deathstroke one is one I'm looking forward to the most. And that will kick off with 6 ongoing issues. So that is a lot of fun. What do you think?
I think that's cool.
Yeah. I guess some people were shown a teaser trailer for Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves. So maybe we could be looking for that. Keith Giffen has passed away.
Yeah.
The creator of Lobo and Rocket Raccoon.
An Ambush Bug.
And he was 70 years old.
Yeah.
It didn't say what the cause of death was. I heard he had a run-in with cancer. So I have no idea.
Is that a signature that you have in your collection?
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
He came to Baltimore Comic-Con one year, and I just didn't get to him. That was like in 2017. I didn't have time. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
we're a big bummer. So before I talk about this next piece of news, I want to reiterate that it is not going to happen. It is a rejected pitch. DC said no, but they released what they released what the pitch was. So the pitch was they were going to turn Connor Kent into a trans hero.
Okay.
And his or her name, however you want to look at it, was going to be Connie Kent. And her superhero name was going to be Skyrocket. So DC said no thank you to that. Which it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on that issue. But one thing I do got to say is, if DC does want to do that type of character, by all means, go for it. Don't do it to an already established character. You know what I mean? Make your own character. Show some creativity. I see it. No matter what character they do it to, that's already been established. It's not fair to those fans of that character, and it's kind of a cop out. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to change this character's backstory. Sorry, we have no creativity. It seems like one of those terrible reboots that nobody's asking for, and that's what it is to me. They're not showing any kind of creativity. So that's my take on it. If you want a trans hero, by all means, absolutely go for it. But don't ruin an already established character.
Sure.
Show a little bit of creativity. Those are some of the big ones, especially with the passing of Keith Giffen.
What was your favorite work that he did? And, he had some controversy in his career as well.
Yeah.
There was some time where he kind of was accused of copying someone else's artwork. And he said it wasn't so much that he copied it, that he was so influenced by the style that subconsciously he would draw that way. But not so much talking about the controversy, but he was really known for Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. I would say one of his more iconic titles that I have of his is probably going to be Lobo.
Okay.
I've got a lot of Lobo of him. So
but I thought you really liked his Justice League run.
I do like his Justice League run too, but I think I just prefer Lobo.
Mm-hmm.
Just because maybe there's a lot of speculation behind Lobo right now, so hoping maybe it strikes big and makes me super rich, but I don't think it'll happen. It sounds like Mark Waid is going to be very involved in the DC Elseworld stories coming up, so interesting.
Well, we have a Marvel creator that's coming over to DC that was announced this week at New York Comic Con. Jason Aaron. He just did 5 years of writing Avengers, and he was also writing Thor as well. He's coming over to DC to take the reins on Action Comics.
Okay.
There's the Superman flagship title. Philip Kennedy Johnson's been writing Action Comics since 2021. He's going to wrap up his time there and his stories. And then starting in January with Action Comics 1061, Jason Aaron will be taking over the writing for the title. This is part of their big, I'm trying to think what they call it. They call it like a Superman, All-Star Superman squad or something like that.
Interesting. I don't know who that writer is, so I don't know if they're any good. So we'll see.
So it looks like their first story that he has planned for Action Comics is going to involve Bizarro.
Okay. Yeah. News-wise, I think that's kind of it. Big news out of New York Comic Con. Oh, somebody pooped on the floor.
Was that real?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Somebody pooped on the floor at Comic Con. Hey, man, when you gotta go, you gotta go. I don't think it was intentional. Someone just, ran in and took a squat and then ran away. I don't think that happened. I have no idea. I wasn't there, but I've never been at a convention where anything like that has ever happened. So we'll go ahead.
Well, there isn't like a lot of privacy.
Well, I'm sure Comic-Con has bathrooms.
Well, they pooped on the floor of the bathroom, or they pooped on the floor like the main floor?
I heard it was like on the convention floor. Who knows?
I'm sorry, but if you're doing that, you shouldn't be going to Comic-Con.
It could be. They didn't specify that it was a kid or not. I mean, it could have been a little kid. Someone must have had Taco Bell before the con. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Didn't Tim the Comic Collector have some news for us in the private chat today?
I don't think so.
I thought he did. I thought he was talking about the announcement of. Let me look here. I want to make sure that I'm saying this right. I'm finding his.
Kung Fu's getting worse every year. Yeah, tell me about
it. DC announces plans to release an alternate ending to Batman 428, A Death in the Family.
That would be man, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Like, why do we need it? I don't need it. Do you need it?
But I mean, that's probably somebody's favorite storyline because it is a popular storyline.
Can't that be an Elseworld story?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Or like a what if? Marvel has what if, you know what I mean? DC has Elseworlds, but the two aren't treated the same because in my opinion they're not the same.
So you know that this was the death of Jason Todd.
Yeah.
And the fans could decide by calling a 900 number back in the day. And it was very close back then. They had a total of 10,614 votes. And it was a 72 vote margin. 72 vote margin. Oh my God. Your boy needs to rest. It's
Yeah,
been a
I hear ya.
72 vote margin to kill him off. So it was pretty close. And I know that they had completed both sides. So I guess we're going to get to see what it would have looked like had 73 people voted the other way. This is going to be, they're calling it a thaw simile. It's going to feature the original story and art from A Death in the Family from the storytelling teams. And it'll be coming out on December 12th.
Of this year, I imagine.
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. News-wise, not so much else. Although I do got to say, all the DC exclusive foils that were announced for New York Comic Con, there's still a lot of them left. So not all of them sold out like I anticipated they were going to. So maybe I can get my hands on some.
Well, I know some of the ones you were looking for are for sale, like right this very second on the
Yep.
official website. So
Yep.
I looked out and had someone that was at Comic-Con pick mine up for me.
Hook you up?
Yeah.
I finally got my exclusive that I was looking for. It's right here. But
Yeah, what is that?
We're gonna have to check it out during the book show.
During the book show, we're gonna have to wait. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you have that book, but I don't want to spoil what it is.
Okay.
I'm like 90% sure you have it.
Okay.
It's not a foil cover, but it's still cool.
So you haven't ordered any of those foils yet?
No. Like the DC logo foils. I was like, man, do I really need those? I already got all the ones from BTC. Do I need the ones from Comic Mint? I don't know. There's still some available, so I got time. So we'll see. Nice. Jedi Knight.
Which ones did you get, John?
I was chatting with Jedi Knight.
He's a cool guy. He's the man.
Yeah, we were talking about signatures. So on Instagram.
You know, he loves X-Men, and he's got all of these like incredible X-Men books signed by Stan Lee.
That is a signature, honestly, I'll probably never own. Not that I dislike Stan, but the amount of DC work he did that I own is 0.
Okay, question for you, trivia time.
Yep.
Do I have a Stan Lee autograph, yes or no?
Yes.
I do?
Do you?
Do
I? So X covers and Power Girl cover. Nice. Some of those Power Girl covers, I don't know. I thought about picking some up. I know there's an art germ somewhere in there, but I don't know. I'm kind of art germed out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For a while. He does fantastic work, don't get me wrong, but all his characters kind of look the same in the face. But
so to answer the question, do I have a Stan Lee autograph?
I say yes. Yeah, see, look. Woo.
I do.
I knew
Mine's not on a comic book, though.
But hey, I have nothing signed by Stan Lee. Nothing. So,
did you answer the question who you wanted to meet the most if you had gone to NYCC?
Yeah, we talked about it backstage. I said Jenny Frison.
Oh yeah, Jenny Frison. You did. I'm sorry, short-term memory.
That's okay. Yeah, she would be.
I have a low
I'd be at her
margarine
booth.
tolerance.
Yeah, I'd be at her booth. You know, like doors open at 10 by 10:15. You know, I'm at her booth at least trying to figure out what time she'll be back. But I got the Power Man, you know, cover. Yeah, some black image crypto pulling. Yeah. This I don't understand all the Power Girl covers lately. I mean,
yeah, Power Girl is certainly
coming
the covers.
Yeah, she's.
You didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you who I would have liked.
Yes, who would you? Yeah,
Daniel Samfier, because he doesn't live in North America. He's the current artist in Wonder Woman.
Yep. Where does he live?
Was there? Huh?
Where does he live?
He lives, I think, in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
I think. I would have liked to have met him. I really would have liked to have met someone else that doesn't live in North America, and that's Jorge Jimenez.
Yeah, Jorge Jimenez would have been nice.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have met him. So
those are great picks.
Yeah.
So that's the question for the chat. Who would you meet at New York Comic Con?
Yep.
Who would be your first one right in line? The only reason I said Jenny, one, because everyone says the same thing. She's super nice lady, easy to talk to. And second, she does amazing work. So I feel like I got to get her to sign something.
Yeah.
The question is now, how much does she charge? Now, if it's one free and then the next one's a couple, then maybe I'll grab a couple. But if she's one of those people who are like, oh yeah, it's $75 for one signature.
I met her like right before the C2E2 before COVID, and I think she was just $5 a signature.
That's very fair.
Yeah,
that's very fair. That's about where I start to draw the line. In my opinion, there are some people that charge more than that I don't think really have the tenure or the legacy to, like, like a Stan Lee, for example. I mean, he could charge whatever the heck he wanted. Neil Adams, yeah, he was in the same boat. He's this AAA comic book creator. He can charge whatever the heck he wants. I know he's charging like $75 to $100 towards the end of his time on this earth with us, but hey, he's an OG.
Yeah.
Without him, comics wouldn't be where they are today. So he can charge whatever the heck he wants. But yeah, some of these newer people up and coming, at least for me, they're like, oh yeah, it's $25 per, $50 if you want a witness. It's like, oh, really? Yeah, I'm good, man. I only have one book for you anyway, so
yeah, and I can witness you signing it.
Yeah, yeah, right. I witnessed myself signing it. But yeah, should we jump onto the story? I got nothing else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I probably should pull it up too, huh?
Tell us why you picked this tonight.
Good question. The reason I picked this is because, the main reason is we don't really cover Jack Kirby stuff very often, and
he's so Marvel associated.
Yes, and Fourth World, the New Gods and such don't get really any coverage, at least on this show. And let me pull that up here.
While you're doing that, we'll say hello to James, who's popped in.
And this particular run has 20 issues, so we divided it by 3. No, I'm just kidding. We're just doing the first 3. Let me get.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
So this was supposed to start at 8:38 Eastern, right?
Yes, you were just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we were just
Tony was trying to pick some book we've already retro reviewed.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do.
No, I do apologize, but tonight was fried chicken night, and once you get started, like,
oh yeah,
there's no way out of it.
Your absence is excused. So yeah, Jack Kirby's Fourth World. I just think that this honestly could be its own, like, outside of DC Comics. There's just so much lore in here. It's great. And every time, like, they launch like a big Fourth World title at my LCS, they make it. They really run with it. I got to give them props. They make it seem like it's religious material. Like, I want to talk to you about the New Gods. And you're just like, whoa, what? They're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Talk to me all you want about the New Gods. But it was really funny.
One thing before you start, just for those, so there's no confusion, who might be thinking, since it has Jack Kirby's name in the title, that this is Jack Kirby work. It is not. This is John Byrne.
Yep, John Byrne,
who wrote it and drew it and pretty much did everything but staple it.
So why is Kirby's name in it?
I think it's because he's the creator.
Yeah, he came up with the Fourth World.
Yeah.
Fourth World, and the whole New Gods and New Genesis and Apokolips, and Darkseid is his boy, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Same thing with Mr. Miracle and Steppenwolf and all that good jazz. But so this issue is going to read really, really different. There's not a whole lot of story. So picture, in Wonder Woman where they were talking about the history of the Amazons, that moving painting that was just the coolest thing since sliced bread, in my opinion. That's what this book kind of reads like. and they just kind of give like a history, you know, of how the fourth world became, and it goes all the way back to the creation of the universe. And here's some Bible scripture, you know, and in the universe was void without form. And it talks about, you know, how this planet came together and everybody kind of evolved from it. And, you know, almost immediately they split off into factions, and war, you know what I mean? You can't have people without war. So, they talk about the difference, and I'll get to that point. But honestly, now that I read this issue again, I should have given this issue to Magic Lasso. I really should have, just because it's heavy Amazon inspired. So anyway, they kick things off here with this big war, and they're talking about the old gods, Thor, Hippolyta, Ares, Zeus. They were attacked by the new gods, and they all died. So the new gods just kind of went from place to place to place to, you know, seek a bigger challenge. And finally, they got to, you know, where they are now on New Genesis. But yeah, here we have pictures of all the old gods that they allegedly killed. See, they have Ares in here. That, oh, we killed Ares, but no, you didn't. And same thing here. They talk about, you know, all the gods that make up Shazam. You know, they killed all them too. And soon, there was something happened on New Genesis, and it split off. Excuse me. They split off into Apokolips and New Genesis. So you have your two factions here. They're the only two surviving factions left. And they talk about here this war between the two. Or this is kind of like a real backstory to Steppenwolf and how he got established. He's having this big battle, and he accidentally kills. Her name was, I don't recall what they keep referring to as the female, because if you look at this bubble here, Silence Fool, I did not see the female until it was too late. So I didn't really give her a name, but I think it's Ava, Avia. Is that the correct pronunciation from that? And I think this here is pretty cool. So it looks like Darkseid has an Infinity Gauntlet. It really does, which is pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah, they talk about the war that ended the battle, or the battle that ended the war. They got these big robotic dragons. Her name is D's Nuts. Probably. Yeah. In terms of dialogue, there's only like 4 things of dialogue on here. There's not a whole lot of meat, but they talk about, you know, how they all kind of you know, found a mate, so to speak, and we get further on here and we talk about Darkseid and his kid, and Darkseid kind of cast it out into the void, and that's how you get some of these new god characters. We got Highfather here who picks up Darkseid's kid and kind of takes them in. But when the Darkseid is found out that his children are still alive, who's there to stop him? The mighty Thor with his hammer, which is pretty cool.
I love it.
I'm Thor. I'll never call anybody master. But that's it. This issue's really short. Not a whole lot of dialogue. Just kind of talks about the beginnings of New Genesis and Apokolips, and sets the stage for the Clash of Titans for issue 2.
One of my favorite movies.
You like Clash of Titans?
Oh, loved it.
I thought it was pretty good.
Toys as a kid. I mean, I must have watched that show 100 times.
We'll say hi really quickly to Copy 801 and NYCC Goer.
Yeah, I wanted to know. I'm curious. Copy, has the makeup come off yet, or are you still Is
I
your
had to
face
watch
still
some of his
mainly
stuff a couple times to figure out that was him.
Same thing. I didn't think it was him. I thought it was someone he saw there and took a photo of. And then I'm like, oh, that's him.
white?
I thought he was there with a friend who did the makeup. You know what I mean? And that was just his buddy or something. But nope.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope it didn't wash off. I would like for it to be permanent for at least a day or two. But
Wouldn't that be funny? Like he's just that way forever now. Like what an origin story.
So
He went to Comic-Con and his makeup stayed that way.
just a quick timeout before we continue the retro review.
Yep.
Tony, who did Copy cosplay as?
Joker.
Wrong.
What do you mean?
Who did he cosplay as, Tony?
Oh, Tony's boyfriend.
Well, more specifically.
Well, I got nothing. I thought didn't he do the Joker? I thought he was.
He was Puddin'.
Oh, geez. Same difference. Anyway, back to the story. Who had issue 2? I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I've actually got mine shared if you want, and I can go through it.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me. I'll pop this one up. You can pop yours on.
All right. So I've got issue number 2 of Jack Kirby's Fourth World. You can see we got Big Barda and Thor on the cover. Very cool. This is not a Marvel comic. So we start off here with Metarog in his the chair.
Yes, we do.
Tony, you knew when I read this page there was no way I wasn't going to say that, right?
I it's been a long time since I even thumbed through this, but yeah, it's bringing up some memories now.
So now I'm blanking on his name. Now I can only think of Metarog.
Metron.
Metron, yeah, Metron.
Thank you. So Metron is in his chair and kind of looking at what has just occurred with the two worlds. As we can see, we've got the New Genesis and Apokolips kind of fused together with the source wall kind of like acting as the glue between them almost. And so it's kind of become almost like a single world. So as Metron is going through and assessing the situation, he comes across this human here who is quite upset. And one of the things that he's noticed is at the source wall, all of the great beasts have gotten frozen in time. You can see this giant bird there kind of just stuck frozen. Kind of reminds me, if you've watched that video going around Twitter for the last 2 days of that jet airplane just like hovering in the air. It's kind of like that. So he's talking to Metron about this, and they're talking about what lies beyond the source wall and the fact that these two planets are kind of fused together. He's also so he's gonna he explains that basically the difference between these two worlds is you can kind of think of New Genesis as what we conceive of as heaven, whereas Apokolips is most certainly what humans would refer to as hell. So this is kind of like a dichotomy of heaven and hell with New Genesis and Apokolips here. So Metron decides he's going to take this guy home. It's all he can really do. And when he does, he's confronted by these three people, two kids, and I don't know. This guy looks very short, but he's obviously not a kid. It's kind of a strange way to draw him. But they're kind of upset with Metron, like, hey, what's going on here? What's going on with our world? No more riddles. We were told that you're just going to speak riddles to us. And but he's not really sure what has happened here. We flash over to the new gods, and we've got Big Barda here saying something just isn't right. And they kind of agree, but they're like, I think she means more than that. Like something isn't right. Like something is off here. And so she's kind of sensing the sensitivities of the world. No, I'm sorry, this is not Big Barda. This is what's her name?
Shoot, yeah, I forget.
Dreamer, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. I think her name's Dreamer. That's what they keep calling her. So they're kind of talking about Darkseid, the new gods and all, and the old gods. And they're trying to find answers as to what happened here, basically. And so they're like, hey, I know, we'll go to Super Town. I wasn't familiar with this before. But so they took their little ATV and apparently flew it into the sky on wheels, which is odd. But yeah, they're flying up to Supertown to try to find answers. And there's one thing there that they can always depend on, right? So as they're doing that, this thing comes shooting past them, and they're like, hey, there's only one thing on New Genesis that can move that quick. It must be Light Ray. So here we're introduced to Light Ray, and he is kind of speeding along the planet in search of Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, who are newlyweds. So we flash over to them, and we see that they're kind of just like walking around and kind of dreaming of their new life. Want to return to Earth is their plan, basically. And because that's where they've experienced their happiest times in the past. So they're kind of making their plans to go back to Earth. And I don't think they really quite understand what's going on yet. But then Big Barda kind of senses something wrong and these fluctuation in energy levels. And so she goes over to investigate and very quickly realizes that something is off at this one location. Something's coming through the source wall, breaking through from Apokolips. And we can see on the other side of the wall here, we actually see Thor trying to break through that wall with Tigra or Tigra. I don't know how you pronounce that, but so Tigra and Thor are sitting here trying to break their way through the source wall. We can only imagine this is what Mr. Miracle and Big Barda are analyzing on the other side. And they begin to argue. Tiger is like, hey, what did I bring you here for? I thought you had all this power. You're one of the old gods. He mentions how he brought her back from Asgard. So we get like the full Viking mythology here. It's very similar to, Marvel's Thor, actually. And they're going back and forth. And finally, Thor's just like, you know what? I'll show you my power. Check this out, as he busts through the source wall. And we can see here, Big Barda and Mr. Miracle are thrown back as they do. They come through the breach. And Barda gets up and was like, whoa, stop right there. Thor just instantly just knocks her to the ground. She recovers and gets into her full gear. She kind of transforms here into her outfit and says, hey, if you're on New Genesis, you got business here, you need to bring it to me first. I'm the one you need to talk to. She lifts up this giant rock out of the earth and actually impresses Thor. He's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that I would be meeting somebody of your caliber here, right? So a superb move, but Thor's easily able to stop it and then turns it back on Barda. But Barda's able to handle herself, and these two are going to go back and forth fighting here, basically. He says, I'm the god of thunder, the Odin son, very reminiscent of Marvel, of course. And I realize they got it from Vikings, but Thor, right? So at the same time, Light Ray is still going through trying to find Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, and he kind of comes across this breach and realizes what's going on. He sees Barda and Thor going at it and realizes that Barda can probably handle herself. Look at this. After Kirby, 1966. Sort of. So I guess this is some kind of like homage to maybe something in a Marvel book I'm not familiar with. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Light Ray comes down, tries to talk to Mr. Miracle. He's just like kind of recovering his senses here. And at this point, Mr. Miracle starts glowing And he's like, I got this. And everybody's kind of caught off guard. They're not familiar with this power that he's got. But again, he's glowing and he starts turning it on Thor. And Thor immediately reacts. Like, he's like, whoa, this is not good. What are you doing to me? And they're all just kind of watching. Like, this is very strange. And Thor actually feels his life force being sucked from him. And then he's like, hey, stop this. And Light Ray's like, basically like, hey, don't worry. I'm about to give it all back to you. And he does in one giant, wave of energy. Throws it all back at Thor, just like knocking him out, obviously. And so Mr. Miracle comes up and he's like, yeah, this is basically my new god power. And Tigra is like, fools, what have you done? You don't understand. I brought Thor here as one of the old gods, the only one with enough power to defeat Darkseid. You've just taken him out of the game, and well, now we've got a problem. Now we got no way to defeat Darkseid. So way to go. And that you can see she's really not too happy with them. And that essentially is where this story ends. And then we go back to the wall. There is a backup story here. I didn't really read this one. It's basically kind of like just this little bar fight, basically arm wrestle. But we're not going to review that tonight, I don't think.
Yeah, there is a
hello real quick to Sean Franklin.
Yeah, some of them had dual stories. I forgot all about it, so don't worry about it.
Cool. All right. So, Lasso, I think you said Tim the Comic Collector had issue number 3, right?
Yeah, yep. And then he wouldn't show up.
Oh. Okay.
And because he said Tom was upset because Thor is his, not Tim's.
Oh, Tom.
That's what he said.
He's probably eating some gas station nachos.
Gas station nachos. If someone could bring me an assist on issue 3, I'll get us through this one the best I can. And we'll say hello to poor Mike, who's joined us.
Poor Mike.
Yeah, she did look a little rough. So, interesting cover, Devoured by the Source for issue 3.
Is this me sharing?
Yeah, please. Okay. And then we start out with Dawn on Apokolips. And they stop and say, wait a minute, think about this. Dawn on Apokolips. New Genesis and Apokolips are now one planet. And for some of them, for Apokolips, they're not familiar with Dawn. So this light is shining for the very first time. And it's something to think about. And in part of this planet, besides that, they can hear laughter. The cold, black laughter of an evil god, which would be Darkseid. So Granny Goodness is questioning why Darkseid is laughing, and she says she doesn't really see anything funny. And he goes on to say that just the fact that Highfather thought about fusing Apokolips and New Genesis together, that he thinks that will counterbalance his own plans, he finds a little surprising, but funny, and it doesn't matter because it's not going to stop him. Scene cut, we head to see Thor. So Thor has been brought back, and he's really not having any of it. They're trying to subdue him. He is not having any of it. And he wants to know where he's at, who dares restrain the son of Odinson. And they just keep telling him to hold him. And Highfather goes on to say to him, Thor's like, you're the one whose trickery felled me, and now face me like a man. And he says, there's really nothing to face. I drew out your god power, your life energy, and then sent it back into you with sufficient force to render you unconscious. That's what had happened to you. And he tells him to cease his violence, and they're always dedicated to peace. And they say, peace, really? Well, that Valkyrie who stood against me at the barrier didn't seem very peaceful. And Barda says, well, I'm not from New Genesis. My home, I was born and raised on Apokolips, and that was their way, which is the way that I've been trained. So Tiger is kind of like, she's had enough of this, and she's like, wait a minute, we need to start thinking about what's really going on. And even as we speak, Darkseid could be preparing his most devastating onslaught. And Lightray says, I don't know if we need to worry about that. Darkseid will be kept busy enough coming to terms with the new shape of Apokolips. There will be a while before he's going to try to make moves against us. And she is having none of that. She says, how little you know, Lightray, who have been a friend of my son and stood with him so many times against my husband. She's like, haven't you learned that Darkseid is always scheming. There's not a moment where he's not scheming. There's nothing that happens that he cannot immediately adapt to for his foul purposes. And as they go on to talk, Highfather starts to remember a time long ago when he wasn't an adversary of Darkseid's, but during that time, he talks about how Darkseid had always believed that there were other gods in the worlds that even predated them, that they were born from the same explosion that created Apokolips and New Genesis. And Darkseid always had this goal to accumulate power by stealing it from those other gods. So then Thor confirms what Highfather said, because the Asgardians knew about Darkseid's scheme, but he was afraid to attack Asgard because of their link to the old gods. And then he explains that Asgard lost Odin, their center and source of power, and Darkseid is going to use that chance with him being gone to attack. So then we cut over Elseworlds and New Genesis. We got Claudia, Dave, Harvey, and Victor. They're waiting for Highfather to return them to Earth. Tachyon shows up and starts to explain to him, that he was once human. Because, people are saying, I have a job, I have a family to get back to. And he's like, well, believe it or not, I was once human too. And I had people that cared about me. I was a man named Josh Sanders. I was a psychotherapist for a New York hospital, but I was blind from birth. And one day I was transfigured. It was only later I learned that it was Highfather who had caused the change. And they're questioning, well, how did you discover that? It's something, that we can comprehend. And he says, I learned it directly from the source. Highfather created more than he knew when he transformed Josh Sanders. In all of the eons saving the destruction of the God world, I am the first who can communicate directly with the source. So we cut back now to Thor and Highfather and Big Barda and Mr. Miracle and Tigra. And they're starting to try to determine, what are they going to do? What type of plan are they going to put together? And while they're mulling over the pros and cons of that, they bring about the fact that there is one thing that can save them. And it's this little boy. And he knows it. He says, me? And they're wondering if this is some type of joke. Seraphim is as much of a god as any of us, but he's young by our standards, and his powers and abilities are not fully developed. So Barda's talking about this with Mr. Miracle, and they don't exactly know if they should use this kid or not, or precisely what his place is. And they find out he's the only one that can manipulate them properly if they would transport themselves to the source. So now that Mr. Miracle, Barda, and this kid have kind of broken away from everyone else, they decide maybe that's the plan that we need to do, some type of secret mission then. So they start to decide exactly what the plan should be. And Barda's very concerned. And Barda and Mr. Miracle are having, some words back and forth, that it's bad enough to use the young Seraphim and then to stick their heads out in a noose. And there's no need for Barda to come with. And she's like, but there's every reason, Scott, you know it. So stop wasting your time debating. I'm coming with you. And essentially, and I really love this background that they have here with the white and black. I think that is so cool. They're going to transport themselves into the source wall, and essentially they're all kind of hooked together by this rope. And they're promised that no one's going to let go of them. So they essentially take a jump, take a plunge, and start heading down to the source wall. At one moment, it's time for all of them to free fall for a little bit, even though that they're still all linked together with the rope. And all of a sudden, they see what they come close to the source wall, and they see that there's these beams that's protecting the source wall, and they're kind of in shock and in awe a little bit of this. And it's Odin. It's exactly where Thor said that he would be. So now what they have to do is those beams of energy are coming from the source itself, and they're intended to keep anyone from approaching the wall. They need absolute precision, so they're going to have to maneuver themselves deep inside their field of fire. So Mr. Miracle says free fall, and they do. And then he has Barda release the flying discs, and they essentially kind of surf their way through these light beams to get as close as they can. And then they use Seraphin there. He shoots a blast out, and he's able to destroy it, and thus he's able to free Odin. So back with Highfather, Mr. Miracle, Barda, Seraphin bring Odin back, and Thor is happy to be reunited with him. Mr. Miracle says he knew that, everyone would be still sitting here trying to figure out a plan because no one can agree about anything. That could go on for days. So instead, he took off with his group on that rescue mission, and they were able to successfully do that. And Odin says the gratitude is his for the rest of eternity, Scott, free short a time as that may be. And they're like, short? And he's like, yes, Light Ray, I fear eternity may prove to be very short indeed. And then Metron appears, and Barda says he has a face even longer than his normal look. And he says that's not without reason. And Metron says, I have just returned from the planet Earth, and this is what I left there. And we see all of these different types of ships, because Darkseid has been pillaging the universe, seeking out other gods and destroying them in order that he can seize the power for himself. And then these are the warships from all of the worlds that Darkseid has stripped of their gods. And within minutes, they're going to move to destroy the Earth, and then eventually all of the cosmos with it. And that's our cliffhanger ending, setting up the next issue called Back from the Source. And then there also is a quick little story, too, that we're not going to focus on, a little backup story, too.
Very cool.
Nice. And I think this was a 20-book
Yeah,
title.
that sounds right.
Yep, about 20 books. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Very nice.
quick trivia. What is the first appearance of the Source Wall?
Oh, I know.
Yes, Mr. Lasso.
New Teen Titans and Uncanny X-Men crossover.
Correct. Yep. And it's fun fact that both DC and Marvel both have the Source Wall, and they both confirmed that the other lays on the other side of the other. And here we are talking about a story about the Source Wall. We have Thor in it.
Yeah, how does that work? Because it's a different Thor.
Yeah, it is.
Hello
Oh,
to
yeah,
Paul
you're right.
S.
It's a different Thor. But
So if we had another DC versus Marvel, we could have Thor versus Thor.
we could have two Thors. Yeah.
They did
Ooh,
have an Asgardian Thor in the Wonder Woman comic books about 2.5 years ago or so.
I remember that. Yeah, where Wonder Woman is stuck in I think it's some kind of dream or something. I don't remember.
That's where she met the character Siegfried.
Siegfried, that's right.
Yep.
I remember because we were doing a
Wonderful
Wednesdays. Yeah. And Fu didn't want to participate, but that's okay. That's okay. But yeah.
His was called Fooey Friday.
Fooey Friday? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, what did you guys think? Fourth
I
World,
think
is that
Furry Friday sounds better, but
Oh,
yeah, that's
that's
besides the
true.
point.
I like
It's good.
I like the Fourth World stuff.
Yeah, I have to say it was a little weird seeing the Thor stuff in there just because it felt so Marvelish, but I get it.
Yeah, it's Marvel doesn't have the copyright on
No,
Norse
but,
mythology. Yeah.
no, but they had already kind of introduced that, so it seemed a little strange, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that John Byrne can get a little wordy sometime as a writer.
Mm.
Not my issue. They said like 4 things.
Well, yeah, not in your issue. And his art definitely has really changed since the John Byrne type of art that you think of in the Bronze Age with Avengers, X-Men, and that type of stuff. Now, when John Byrne started a run on Wonder Woman, the very first storyline he did was with Darkseid.
Mm.
So that Darkseid looked very much like the Darkseid that he drew because his art style had changed to kind of this style that he kind of does right now. And I mean, it's just a personal taste, what you prefer. Not the art is still good. It just isn't exactly like what he used to do.
Right.
So, but it's not bad either. And I don't exactly think, one thing that I like about John Byrne as a writer, though, I can tell that it doesn't matter who he's writing, he likes the history of the books and tries to tie stuff back together for like it feels like a fanboy writing for fanboys.
I could see that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. When I first started, it was very confusing for me because it didn't feel very DC-ish, but actually I was able to catch up pretty quick. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh yeah, it's caught me.
Good.
Yeah, this is a run I read. I got the trade paperback when I was in the Army at some point. So I read it a couple of times. So it was pretty fun to go back and read its single issues. But Mr. Lasso, what did you think?
I do think it's interesting putting New Genesis and Apokolips together into one world. Very interesting. I'll do 3.5 out of 5.
3.5?
Yeah.
Out of 5, Mr. Fu, what do you give it?
I would agree. 3.5.
3 to 5. Yeah, I agree. 3.5, maybe 4 because nostalgia gets me a little bit more. But yeah, it seems like we're on the same page, so that's pretty cool.
And I would agree. I mean, like with what Lasso was saying about the art. Well, maybe not agree, but he said it was different than what he used to do. It wasn't the greatest art in my opinion. Like I pointed out, like that one guy I felt was drawn kind of weird, and there was a few times where I was like, oh, what's going on? But
he doesn't skimp in the details though.
Yeah, no, he didn't. No, it was a pretty complete thing. Yeah. Just some of the faces and stuff I thought were a little off.
Yeah, some of them were kind of silly. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, my personal preference is more like he did with Avengers and X-Men in the Bronze Age. I like that a little bit better myself.
Yeah. Like there was actually one panel in the book you read, Lasso, where it's going to sound strange, but Mr. Miracle looked really odd. He almost looked 2D, and I realize it's 2D, but the way it was drawn, he looked extra 2D. If that makes sense. I noticed it as we were going through doing the review.
Even on the cover, it's kind of cartoonish.
Yeah.
And here we are, we're talking about a comic book that looks cartoonish, but
yeah.
I agree. That's not really necessarily the style that I enjoy, but hey, I still like it.
And actually, who was that? The guy that was kind of flying there all green. I don't know his name, but
Mantis.
Mantis, yeah. I think there's like a cover maybe in the Forever People.
Yes, he has his own cover.
That pose is straight out of.
Yep. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Same pose and everything. Very cool.
Well, cool. So, Fu, we didn't get a chance to check in with you at the beginning of the show. How was your week? How's everything going? Did you poop on any Comic-Con floors or?
I was not at New York City. You can't pin that one on me. Copy, however,
it wants you to think.
Copy 801 was at New York City Comic-Con. That's all I know.
They've tested the poop. It didn't come from him.
Oh, okay. No, I've had a good week. Very busy though, running from one thing to the next. It seems.
Yeah.
But
I almost got to go to the Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing. The cast was in town, probably like 10 minutes away from me.
Really?
And I just couldn't do it. I had too many kids.
I've been running around for kids all weekend long.
Yeah, right. And I love Always Sunny, but I don't feel like a gathering of their fans probably isn't a good place for children.
That's true. Yeah.
So as we get ready to wrap up, who would like to go first with the book show?
I'll go first.
Okay. And what you have for us and what's going on in your channel?
So with this run, it's 20 issue run, but it does come with a gallery So 21 issues in this run. The Fourth
That's
World
cool.
Gallery. I was gonna start this at Baltimore Comic-Con, very similar to the way I have the Superman Gallery. But I decided, you know what? I got too many lines in the water right now. No thanks. Paul asked, we did talk about that at the beginning of the show, but thanks for reminding everybody. There's an unpublished issue, but new comic book wise, I did pick this bad boy up. So this is what I mean. Like, Lasso, did you get this bad boy?
That one?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's got two, and he's got the trade dress and the Virgin variant. Very cool.
Don't worry, collectors. I did not bring New York City foil today for the book.
None of these are foil. These are
New York.
None of these are
they're
even
not even New York City exclusives.
Oh, I thought you said it was. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I think there was some big delay with this print for whatever reason. Like, I ordered mine months ago.
Did you get both of them or just
the
Virgin?
One. I just got this one, yeah.
Because I think I read that the Virgin cover had some type of printing error that they had to send back and redo, but the Virgin ones were fine. But I'll tell you something else I've noticed, Tony, because you and I bought these from the same place. I ordered this like the minute it went on sale.
Yeah, same with me. Like,
okay, you have your books in hand before mine even make it to the post office there. And this is what I think. Your last name is closer to the beginning of the alphabet.
Sure. And
my last name is closer to the end of the alphabet.
Well,
I think they ship them alphabetically by last name, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, well, of course not. You're towards the end of the
Because if you're going to
alphabet.
do that, then the next time you need to ship them Z to A.
Well,
but you really should ship them in order of how the order came in.
Here's the thing. I completely agree. First come, first serve. I got the notification, like I always do. Boom, this thing shipped. And when I looked at it, it's already out for delivery. Like, I had no clue it was coming until it's literally on the way.
I live closer to them than you do.
That's true.
And so you have your books in hand. I'm like, well, mine are coming today. I looked and mine just got shipped. And I'm like, this is the second time that's happened.
Well, I mean, I guess
NotHappy.com.
Yeah, you're right. I understand that, but I mean, like, hey, if you gotta wait an extra day or two, I mean,
no.
Well, how long was it? How long was your delay?
My delay was like 3 days.
Oh.
These just came yesterday. What day did you get yours? Like Tuesday.
Gosh, I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday.
I just got mine yesterday.
You hear that, Mr. Fu? He's complaining that I got mine 3 days, three whole days,
consecutive days
before him.
I'm thinking Tim Tom Tamantha got to him because that's a Tim Tom Tamantha type art.
Yeah, it really is. You got yours 3 whole days. Listen, if this was any other issue other than Wonder Woman, I guarantee you he would have said squat. But because it's a Wonder Woman issue and I got it first, number 3.
It's like he thinks that like he's entitled to getting his first.
I'm the Wonder Woman super fan. Right? I got to get mine at least a day before you.
How dare they?
You pulled out all the excuses on that one. You live closer. You know what I mean? You.
I ordered the second that they went on sale, like you did.
Yeah, we ordered.
It has to be alphabetical. I'm going to change my freaking last name to Alfonso.
No, just change it to Lasso.
You'll still be ahead, though.
I'm at the very end, but every once in a while, like in school, the teacher would switch it up, and I'm like, yeah, now I'm
now you're first.
Yeah.
Now you're just the first one not picked for dodgeball.
Except there was always one person that had slightly, came after me in the alphabet. I always just miss it by like one person. So
I don't know what that's like, peasants.
What's going on in that signature channel?
Oh, just a lot of shorts right now. I've got a couple of collaborations in the water with a few people that reached out to me and they want to do some stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Is one of them John's Comics with Kids?
One of them is not John's Comics with Kids.
Just checking.
I reached out, but he said no to me. So
yeah, so you want to do something? Get to the back of the line, pal. No, just some stuff coming up. Really shorts for now. Yeah, that's really it.
What's happening in Sector 2814?
So much.
So much?
No, actually not too much. Actually, I've been really I've scaled back on a lot of my collecting. It's really just kind of down to Green Lantern at this point. Although I do have a Death of Superman thing on the way. Yeah, no, I've been doing auctions on Fridays. I'm going to keep doing that throughout the rest of this month. One that I'm very excited about is I think I'm going to set it up for not this coming Friday, but 2 Fridays from now. Is going to be the charity auction. So I've had some people already send me some books, and I've got some of my own here. Everything's going to go towards comics for kids. And so I'm really excited about that. And you should see some advertisements about that coming this week to give everybody plenty of notice.
Awesome.
For my book show this week, I'm really excited because I found the A cover to a book I got a few weeks ago. I had randomly come across the B cover, but this is the Unstoppable Doom Patrol #3. I just found this at one of my LCS, the A cover here. And can you guess?
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
That is very cool.
Yeah. We got Kyle Rayner and Guy Gardner, and as you can see, the rest of the GLC back there. And it's kind of a fun little issue. They team up with the Doom Patrol, and they actually go up against Starro. So
Star the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just
very underrated show, in my opinion. Doom Patrol. Very underrated. It was really good.
Yeah, it was weird, though.
It was weird.
The first season I enjoyed a lot. The second season just kind of lost me. Like,
I love it.
There was a scene where like a whole new universe was created when he came out of a particular
yes
orifice.
Yeah. That kind of lost me there. I'm not gonna lie. But
yeah,
definitely original, and I really loved Brendan Fraser's portrayal of
Roman. Oh my gosh, awesome. What a home run casting that was.
Yes So I actually liked all of the cast. I thought they all really played those parts well. But
yeah.
So Tony, before Fanboys started today, what was I eating?
Gas station nachos?
No, you know this because I was eating it when I was talking to you.
Pumpkin spice frosty from Wendy's.
Yes. Have you guys been going to Wendy's?
Oh, I don't see a Green Lantern though.
Yeah, no Green Lantern. Sorry. Oh, there is. Wait, no, there isn't.
There, no.
I think is that Lex Luthor? No, I think it's Lex Luthor. Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, there's more. There is a Green Lantern. I knew it. There's
and Sinestro.
Oh yeah, man. Dang it.
All right, who wants to take the hit for me and eat some Wendy's and send me the Green Lanterns?
Dang it. I got to take the kids into the Wendy's.
So there's trading cards and minifigures. There's 3 in each one.
There's 3 in each one. Wow.
But here's the deal. You can crack the code on these. Like this is a number 6. Oh, that's a number 9 when I turn it upside down. See, that's a green number 6. So all the number 6s are the same 3 characters, but they come in different colors.
Oh.
Because they're not all individually it's like the figures here are like would be that character, but they're all green. You get what I mean?
Yep.
So a 6 has Nubia in it. I know that for sure. And I know a 3 has Wonder Woman in it. So, and if you ask them for a specific box, they'll give it to you if they have it, obviously.
Okay.
So just FYI that's out and about at Wendy's with the pumpkin spice frosty.
Well, open it up, man. Let's see what you got.
Oh, no. Not yet.
Okay. Do you know what you have based on the number?
Yes, it's
Okay.
Nubia, and I'd have to look. I think it's Nubia, Cheetah, and someone, and then one male character. I think is a number 6. Someone has bought these, and you can go online and look to see the entire code.
I'm gonna have to go get these off eBay.
It'd actually be cheaper for you to go to Wendy's and get them.
Yeah, because you can get an ice cream for like 50 cents.
Actually, they're supposed to be part of the kids' meal, but if you buy anything at Wendy's and ask, they'll put it on for you. Just saying.
When breaking a promise to myself.
Well,
first you said no gas station nachos. Now you're saying no
Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Actually, Tim said no gas station nachos. That was Tim.
Okay. Now you're saying no Wendy's.
No.
What's wrong with Wendy's?
Yeah,
I value my health.
Wendy's, says the top row.
I value my health. That's true.
No, I don't do the fast food. I just can't do it anymore. But I just finished my my Green Lantern Happy Meal run. Now you guys are telling me.
Well, how'd you get those, man? Yeah. How'd you get the Green Lantern Happy Meal run?
Why don't you have Son of a Foo go to Wendy's and buy some food?
I know. I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna have to crack the code for the specific number box you're saying, and then go in and order that box. Okay.
Yeah. But remember, like, this is a green 6. Now, a purple 6 will have the same 3 characters, but they'll be purple instead of green.
Oh.
And a red 6 will have the same characters, only they'll be red.
Oh, wait. It's the same character, but the color is different?
Yes. All the 6s have the same 3 characters, but the colors are different.
So you got to figure out what 3 characters you need based off the number. And then now you got to go collect all the different colors.
Yes, that's how you do it to get the full set.
You're saying there's multiple Sinestros?
Yes, there's multiple everybody.
Oh.
Because none of these are individually hand colored. Like the Wonder Woman, she's all green. And then she's all purple. Oh. And she's all red. And she's all blue. And
well, a yellow Sinestro would actually just make a lot of sense.
Yeah, yellow Sinestro would make sense.
Okay. All right.
Very cool.
So
when Pokemon were at McDonald's, you can only give them a Happy Meal. My brother's ordering like 6 Happy Meals at once.
It does say, and I forget who they are, but it does say that there's three characters there. Who do you think those are based off of those shapes?
Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash.
Maybe.
I'm guessing. I have no clue.
The middle one.
Middle one's the Flash. I'd say the one on the right is Wonder Woman.
I don't think that's the Flash. I mean, it could be Green Lantern, but I doubt it. Is Wonder Woman one of them already?
Yeah.
Oh, so you go based off of their silhouette. Okay, well, never mind. I have no clue then. What's the other side?
Yeah, I'm going based
on
the
other characters.
So you have Superman, Supergirl, Lex Luthor, Batman, Nightwing, Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Cheetah, Flash, Batgirl, and Gorilla. Wait, is that Gorilla Grodd?
I think so.
Yep, Gorilla Grodd.
I was going to say, it's either that or Ultra Human.
Then you have that Jessica Cruz, Nubia and Sinestro, Aquaman, Mira, and Black Manta. And then
how the heck did Gorilla Grodd get on there, but not Shazam?
That could be Shazam.
It looks like a cape, right?
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Etrigan, but nah, he I don't see the horns or anything.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, stay tuned to Lasso's channel if you want to find out.
And so on my channel, this past week I did a comic book editions and I completed 2 DC series. One of which I've been working on since a childhood collector. It was a Silver Age Teen Titans.
Oh, you finished it?
Finished the entire run.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, now I'm working on guest appearances. But their actual comic book from issue 1 to like 53, got it done.
Nice.
I also completed Batman and the Outsiders, which we just did a retro review on last week. I think it was last week. And so I completed those two. That video is already on my channel. Tuesday, I'll be dropping a video that will be part 2 of my JLA haul that I bought from Silver Age Dave. And here's a little preview of one of the books that's going to be in that haul video. Little Justice League 80-page giant.
Very cool.
And I think that's 86. Oh, 58. Sorry, 58. Issue 58. So that's a little preview of one of the books that will be in the video dropping Tuesday. Of course, I have my back issue of the week YouTube short. That is already out. Well, every week it comes out. And my one that's dropping tomorrow is going to be DC themed. And it's going to have to do with tomatoes that took down a superhero.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Some tomatoes. And it took down a pretty powerful superhero. Back issue of the week short tomorrow.
You know, when I was a kid, I was eating a meatball hoagie while reading an Aquaman book, and a little drop of tomato sauce fell right on the page. I mean, does that count?
No, this is even worse.
Okay.
If you're not subbed up to the Fanboys, of course, there's links to their channels in the description for this video. I also do want to keep reminding you about hashtag KeepGenReading. Comics Will Break Your Heart is going through a cancer battle, and there is a GoFundMe page set up for her. So if you go to GoFundMe.com and type in Keep Gen Reading, it will take you to that. So they started out real strong, but you know, when you're kind of in the middle of a campaign, this is the time that it kind of dips down a little bit. So spread the word, support if you can, any amount of money to keep Jen reading and keep her here for us and help with her medical expenses.
Or even just a retweet or repost.
Yeah,
or whatever.
even sharing, retweet, post, anything helps because it just keeps the awareness out there.
Yep.
So I know that she and her family would appreciate that. So
absolutely,
cancer's not only a devastating thing, but it's a very expensive thing for someone to have to go through. So thanks for joining.
Yes, sir.
That. If you watching on the rewind, you made it all the way to the end. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, we humbly apologize if you watch the whole thing.
Yes, that you have nothing else to do but make it to the end. So whose channel is this on next week? Because tonight it's on my channel.
I guess me.
And whose pick is it next week?
I think it is my pick, right?
Yeah, I think it is your pick
I think
too.
it is.
Yeah.
So join us next week on Comic Food 2814 for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. We can't wait to see you then. Until then, have a fantastic, successful, healthy, and safe week. And take care. Good night.
Peace.